Good morning, my stamping friends. It is Tammy with Stampin' Scrap Tammy with our Facebook Live number 2 for the very virtual after party for celebration. Now today, I'm not going to share any celebration items. What I am going to share today in this video is the new Butterfly Bouquet Suite, and I have got a treat of a card for you. I will show you the card that I was going to make for you. And then it got a little bit extreme in here last night when I started playing with it. So I will give you a little insight as I go into how that process happens. So gosh, I have so much to share today. My table for one card, I'm going to take a picture. Well, I took a picture before. I'm going to share with you after this picture of all of the things that I used today. It is like the most technique-y card, and that's not a word. I tried to use it and it kept auto-correcting to something crazy. But so today's card is very technique-y. So if you like technique cards, I've got a treat for you. I'm using all kinds of them today. All right, so make sure you say hello when you get here. Whether you're watching live, you can always watch the replay. We are in a party group. So what happens at the Stampin' Scrap Tammy parties? Well, lots of things happen. If you fill out that door prize form, you like, you share, you comment, you can win prizes. I've got all kinds of prizes to give away. And I know people are here because I saw the names pop up, but I'm not getting the notification just yet. Okay, here it is. All right, so we're saying good morning to Cindy and Jan and anybody else that joins along here. I will try to follow along the comments a little bit, gosh, I think it's just time to get to work because I've got lots to share today. Just one card today, but it is like a stunner. I'm going to give you a glimpse of it. And I'm also going to share with you the card I was going to make, which is equally as beautiful. And it is definitely more my style, but you know, it's a party, so you got to do it up at a party. And I reference this, you know, so even if you don't like to make technique cards and you don't like to do all this fancy stuff, it's kind of fun to see. So I, in my younger years, really enjoyed jewelry, which I still enjoy jewelry, but of course kids and other things happen. And so, you know, you would go to the jewelry store and you look at what you can get, but it's also fun to try on that $120,000 ring, isn't it? You know you're not going to buy it, but you want to try it on, you want to check it out because, hey, you never know. Maybe I'm going to win the lottery today and I'm going to go buy that ring tomorrow. Well, probably not. I probably still wouldn't do that. But anyway, so I liken technique cards to that. I don't do them often, but I do like to sprinkle them in every now and again. So Butterfly Brilliance, I have got the die cuts right here, and I have the stamp set. Something very unique and lovely about this stamp set, I don't have it in here. It is all one piece. So we're going to be I don't even have the little rubber part in here. We're going to be stamparaticing today. And this stamp is all one piece. The awesome part about it is then it all cuts out in one piece. So I can get all these butterflies, plus then I can cut them out separately if I'd like and get the more detailed part of it. So very unique stamp set in dies, but so lovely. And this is an early release. So I did share the link up above because it's not in a catalog right now. And so, you know, if you'd like the number for that, that's where it is. I just shared the whole bundle, but it'll take you to Stampin' Up. And someone earlier did say there was an issue with the link. I think that was Stampin' Up's issue because now it seems to be working. So if you have any trouble with that or had any earlier, just try it again. It should work. All right, next to share, because this is what's coming this afternoon. I just got to start eliminating stuff on my table. So if things are a little scattered today, that's what's going to happen when I'm sharing like 5 different techniques at once. These bags of cards are my swap cards I'm going to be sharing with you this afternoon. This is the most of a glance that I got of them too. So we're going to be seeing them together for the first time this afternoon at 2 o'clock. Of course, check back for the replay anytime if you're not able to join us at 2. So just a little sharing and showing at 2. And then tonight, if you are able to join us live during the Facebook Live, we're going to be doing some mystery stamping. The directions and measurements and things for that are going to post today at 4 o'clock Central Time. All right, who wants to see what we're doing today? Here is what we are doing today. Is this not one of the most pretty cards you've ever seen? I love it. I don't know what happened in my thought process where this came from. But so here, let me show you the card I was going to do today. And then I decided that it was maybe too simple. And it's not simple at all. It's really pretty. But it was too similar to the cards that I've been sharing lately with my simple stamping. And so here's the card I was going to share. But look at that. So just how I always talk, take the same layout, make a card like this. So this card I made about 3 weeks ago for a card swap. In fact, the one that I'm going to share with you. And this design layout, actually, I was starting with something similar to this, or I had the pieces cut out and I couldn't figure out what to do with the colors and things like that. So my daughter Allison actually pretty much designed this card. So isn't that lovely? Let me show you now where the butterfly came from. The designer series paper. This designer series paper is stunning. Now I have 3 packages of this put together, so I'm just going to share with you. Somehow, you know, when I started creating with it, my packages all got open because I needed multiples. So today, I'm going to use this sheet of paper today, and not even for what its intended purpose is there. But here, let me show you that. So this is where those butterflies cut out. Is this not the coolest thing you've ever seen? So these butterflies cut out of here. See that? And now I got all these butterflies. Look at that. So I've got a whole bin of butterflies. And so something's going to come about of these butterflies a little later today. But what I needed this for today, why I cut them out of here, is because this is going to be my little template and mask for the project today. Put that back in place. Anyway, so beautiful sheets of paper. I will share, let's see if I can see this side. I don't even know how many there are. I was too busy getting ready for this other card. And I think I should not say this. I think I have all of the supplies here today. We'll see. That's what happens. I planned at 10 o'clock this morning instead of having all day. So I bet I'm going to have everything here today. Unlike yesterday where things were a little wonky. All right. I think there's more, but you get the idea of it. So there's more. I know there's more. All right. And look at that. So then you have a nice different coordinating side on the other side. So, yep, there is. So here, I'll just page through them. You get the idea of them, though. And yesterday, I kept fumbling on the words because I said I thought it was Butterfly Bouquet, and then it says Butterfly Brilliance on the stamp set, and that is correct. I knew I saw Bouquet somewhere, so here's the little flyer I had. So it's the Butterfly Early Release collection, the Butterfly Bouquet, and the bundle is Butterfly Brilliance. I knew they switch up the names like that. And then also there is, I don't have any full sheets of this. This is 12 by 12. It's this really nice wood grain. It's got texture to it and it's shiny. So I had used that for the background. That's what I used here. And then of course I used one of those butterflies I cut out for the rest of it. Okay, so let's get on with today's project because it's going to take some time today. I am going to see here. Let me look at my computer. I'm a little bit, like the angle's a little different, so I want to make sure the light is okay. It looks like it's either like too light or too dark. Maybe if I move that away. And I noticed yesterday then when I shut my light off, then it was almost too dark. So we'll see. Keep playing around with that. All right, so as I said, I had needed a template. I'm going to start with this part so that it has time to dry. So today I'm using embossing paste. I'm using embossing powder. I have got my spritzer. Goodness, I can't even really figure out how many things I'm using. So what I'm going to do to show you to get started, basically, if you like to do technique things, you just want to get everything on these 2 pages. That's what it boils down to. You just need everything on these 2 pages to do technique. So I'm using the embossing powder. You need a heat gun. I'm using these palettes down here for my embossing paste. Let's see, what else am I using today? I'm using I have the Shimmer Crystal Effects because if you're going to do stuff with these butterflies, I think you'd want that. I used that yesterday. I am using the Frost White Shimmer Paint. And with that, I needed to have a spritzer, which there is a spritzer on here. Where is it? Oh, spritzer, the 13. So I'm using the Stampin spritzer. So all kinds of things that you end up using when you get into using or doing the techniques. And so basically, if you're looking for the supplies for today, I will make a list and share them later today. But 146, 147 is where I'm getting just about every supply that I'm using today. And I'm also using the watercolor paper. It is the Stampin' Up! Watercolor paper. I really enjoyed using this when I'm using the emboss paste, the embossing powder on the type of project I'm doing today because you can get it wet. It can withstand all of the extra weight that's going to be added. And I happened to find this mat that somebody gave me earlier. So I'm going to test this out and see if it works and see if I can wash it off. Yeah, and you know what's intense? I have a bin with a wet washcloth today and a dry one because I have a feeling I'm going to need to wash my hands. And so here is what I got situated here. I have a 5 1/4 by 4 watercolor sheet of paper. And I wanted to get some washi tape, but I didn't. Let me see if I have some in my drawer. I gave all my washi tape. Oh, good, I do. All my washi tape in the holder, because it's not really a thing anymore, to my daughter. So she's got it in her room because she uses it for all kinds of stuff. So when I need some, I have to go in there and get it. All right, and so now what I'm gonna do, and again, we're doing this part first so that it can dry. I should have done like cooking show style and had it all ready to go, but I didn't. So we're gonna hope it dries. If not, I'll just have to share the finished project. So I cut out one of each butterfly just in a scrap piece of paper. And so first, let's go ahead and tape this part down. Let's tape my template down. What do you call that? Is that called a mask? I think that's what it's called. I should have started this first. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Oh gosh, this is some old stuff. This was like an old pattern. I don't even remember what this was from, but gosh, I loved washi tape. You know, it's going to come back though. I have a feeling. So since it's washi tape, I don't have to worry about it. What would you call that? Like scuffing up my background because it's going to come up. I might have to go to the regular tape though, because this washi tape is like not coming off of here real nice. Let me see with my scissors if I can get it going. Otherwise we'll just, I mean, this is not an important part of the project. So I guess I'll have to go to regular tape. That's okay. I'll make it work. And if this is the worst thing that happens in the project, we're doing pretty good, because this could get out of hand. This could be one of those where I just show the sample and say, look at how pretty that was. Okay, so I'm gonna just now put my, now this tape is gone. You've got to be kidding me. All right, I do have some more here. Okay, so I'm just gonna lightly put that down. So once I start putting the embossing paste on, it's gonna hold in place. So as you see, my butterflies aren't quite on the paper. So you can situate your template however you want, because they're gonna hang over the edge. And so once I start that paste, it's gonna be fine. And I gotta get another thing of tape. All right, so let's go with the next one. I gotta see how these go together. Looks like it goes right here. And I am gonna have to reach behind me and get the next thing of adhesive. So I'm gonna just check in here, see who's all here. All right, looks like we got a bunch of you watching. And so Gail says she's on the road again. I'm gonna share something later that Gail sent me before she left. So Gail's off on vacation going down to Florida for the month of March. And she sent me something really cool that I got the other day that I think you all need to see. I'm really stepping up my Stampin' Scrap wardrobe. It'll go with that. It'll go really nice with those shoes. Maybe I'll have to give you all a little glimpse of those again. I still haven't worn them. You know, I'm like I don't know. I've always been this way. When I get something new, like even for school, I didn't wear new clothes to school until I had them for quite a while. I'm not sure what that hang up is. And so that's kind of how these shoes are. I don't know how long I'm going to wait before I wear them. But I don't really want to wear them out in public right now, or not that I wouldn't wear them in public, but it's like muddy out now because it's been really nice here. So then I'm going to just put these last couple in place. So you see how nice these go together. I'm going to make sure that I have those two in the right, because these are kind of similar. So I could get them mixed up. So it's real easy to adhere these together because I have that, or adhere them in place, because it is hanging over the edge. So then I don't have to worry about fumbling around there. All right, so that's gonna be good. That's gonna be fine. I'm just gonna be very careful when I put this embossing paste that I go this way, since that's hanging. And as soon as I get paste on there, it's gonna, you know, plop that down into place. It's gonna adhere it. So let's move this away, because now I have to mix up my coloring. So this is really a fun part. In fact, no, I'm gonna leave this here. Let's move the tape out of the way, and let's bring in our fun stuff now. So first we're gonna start with our shimmer white embossing paste. You need a palette knife. You will need like something to mix it in, because I'm gonna add some re-inker to it. So I'm gonna show you some ways how to use your re-inkers today too. That's something that I like to, when I purchase an ink pad, I like to get the re-inker right away because you never know when the mood is going to strike you to do something like this. And if you haven't done anything like this, I really encourage you to try it out. It's quite fun. Okay, so let's go ahead. I have the shimmer white emboss paste, and that's where it's really cool. It's white, so you can make it whatever color you want. We used it quite a while back. I should, in the comments later today, I will go back. I don't want to put it in the news feed because it'll like clog things up. So if you're watching the, and people wonder why it's showing up there, but I will find the link to the video that I did using the emboss paste and the Simply Succulent die cut. And I'll share that link in these comments here so that if you want to go and watch that one, if you're newer to the group and you missed that one, you'll be able to check it out. Okay, so I have got my Bumblebee re-inker. Now in my card, I don't know that it really showed, but I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to just go with, I'm going to start with 1 drop, okay? So you can see why I may need that washcloth that I have. I was trying to be super prepared. I do have a sink not too far away, so if it gets really out of hand, I will just go wash my hands. You never know. I don't have any helpers here today. The kids are both in school today. So it's just me and the little puppy. Hey, so I forgot to ask, what did everybody think of all of those shares yesterday? I had so much fun posting all of those and figuring out what to post and going back in my camera roll. I had some fun pictures. I especially like the one of Allison's dog on the counter. I take pictures like that. So I haven't done one yet today. I'll take pictures like that when she's off at school, and then I send them to her so that she can get them during lunch, and she wonders what I do all day. So anyways, I came across that one. I thought it was pretty funny. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do today. Actually, Melody and I have been enjoying coffee in the morning, and Allison really thinks I'm crazy. And so I got Melody a coffee cup. Well, I mean, like, just gave her one that I had. And I have it like a disposable cup that I can drop in there that happens to fit like right in the cup. So she has coffee with me in the morning. She's just my little princess. All right, so as you see, that's all I'm gonna do now is put this paste down. But as I went down, just so I get like a little bit of an ombre look, I'm gonna add a little bit more re-inker. So as it gets more filled in, it's going to get a little bit darker. Just a real subtle difference. Again, I don't know if it mattered in the finished product. I don't know if it was a real prevalent difference, but to me, I thought it was fun. I think it's fun to mix this stuff up. So as you see, you can see my hands. I got pretty messy between last night and this morning. I did wash my hands, but they're kind of stuck. So you can see where we're going with, we have some magenta madness coming up in a little bit here. And so again, I'm just gonna run this along here. And how perfect if you've already cut out those butterflies to just use this as your template. Okay, now here's where I wanna be real careful to try to get, or not try, to get this to lay nice and flat. So I'm gonna hold it in place a little bit here. See, as soon as I start getting that paste on there, it's gonna stick in place. Got to finish off this one, and it's going to be just a nice light coat. You don't have to go real heavy, just so that it's covered. Again, I'm going to even go, you know, you could leave it a little more thick if you wanted, but I want it fairly light. Oh, fell out of there. Okay, let me get a little paste on that so that'll stay in place too. I should do that on all these. So this is a little bit trickier than the other one where it all stayed in place because it was one piece. You know, we have how many different butterflies here? We have got, I don't know. Can I count? Yesterday I couldn't count. I couldn't count to 4 yesterday. I thought everything was 3. And I may need to add a little more paste to this. I'm going to put the cover on that because that is dripping. So re-inkers are not only for re-inking your ink pads, you can use them for different techniques too. In fact, I have a friend that, actually my direct upline, Michelle, she does all kinds of things with re-inkers. So if you're a technique person, re-inkers are probably one of your favorite. You probably use them more as a tool than as just, you know, I don't know. Anyways, you probably like them. All right, so I darkened it just a little bit more to finish off. Oh, that's really pretty. And then I'm hoping I have a little left over. So last night I had a little left over, and I'll make sure I do. And I did something really fun. I'll show that to you. And I'm going to finish off that. And this afternoon during the share and show, I'll show you whatever I come up with for a card for that. So I said at the beginning, I talk a little bit about the process. So last night, obviously I told you all that I was going to create something with this, but I really didn't know what I was going to be creating. And so now I'm just smoothing it all out. And I don't want to wait too terribly long then to take this off. So I'm going to take it off as soon as I get this all smoothed out. However, I want to use up this quick because I have it. I don't want to just waste it. Oh my, look at that. I got it on my table. I knew there was a reason I had this washcloth. Hey there, Uncle Albert's people that used to come to the cafe. This is one of the washcloths from the cafe. They're like disposable ones, but I washed them. And so I have a whole stack of them. I still have leftover Uncle Albert stuff. And now I can dry that off real nice. Okay. See, this is why I don't do a lot of technique stuff. So despite all the paper messes around my area, I don't like to get too messy when I'm stamping. So that is why I don't do a lot of this stuff, but I do enjoy it every now and again. All right, so I had this left over. I didn't know what I should do with it. So I just went ahead and I had some black scraps laying around and I just thought, well, I'm just going to do this and then I'm going to see what's going to happen tomorrow. So I just did this. I let it set aside overnight to dry. I'm going to do the same thing. But now actually, now that I know what I did, I'm going to make this a little bit. I left mine last night. It looks like I got just a little clump there. Last night I left it pretty thick because I thought I'd use it for a background for a card. So I kind of just did the swoosh swoosh thing. But now today, and I'm still going to kind of do that, but I'm going to use all this up because the project that I got going on, I can use this whole sheet. And I will show you what I did in a second. So you don't waste any embossing paste. Do something like this. Let it dry. Overnight is best, I would say. Okay, that's good enough. So see, I used it all up. And I do want to wash this fairly quickly. So I'll do that as soon as I'm done here. Because it will dry up and get kind of crusty. So I do like to wash that right away. Maybe as long as I have this washcloth here, I will just do it right now. There. And then I'll rinse it a little better later. Okay. So let's just set that aside, but let me show you what I did with it then. So this is what I ended up with. And the reason I wanted to do it a little thicker was because then I cut this butterfly out this morning. Because some of the spots were a little thick, it was a little tricky getting some of these pieces out. I still got to work on that side. But look at how pretty that butterfly turned out. So I just cut it from here. You'd never know that that was just solid black paper and just the yellow embossing paste. That's it. You got some nice green tones in there. So I will show you something with this later. I'm not sure what yet, but I'll come up with something. And then I'll be able to cut some more out of this sheet of paper. All right, what is next? We have to take this off. So let's remove this. And then we'll set our background aside and hope that it dries by the time we get there. Or at least enough to adhere it together. And so you see washi tape would have been ideal, but you know. And this is gonna get messy too. I should have something to, you know what I can do? I'll bring back my little cup. And I should probably have a take a pick tool. So see how this comes up nice? If I have the adhesive off. Okay. It's gonna come off the whole thing. All right, let's be very careful. So I do need to have a take a pick tool. So it's like you're doing a little bit of like paper surgery here. Okay, I wanna get my adhesive off. Again, this is where I said it's a little bit tricky to be doing this live. But I hope that regardless if it turns out, you trust that I know what I'm doing. Well, no, you don't have to. I don't always really know what I'm doing. Okay, look at that. Oh, I hope you can see that. It's magic. This is magic, everybody. Okay, look. Look at how fun. Okay. All right, so now, okay, this is stuck. That's okay. That's what we want, to be very careful. So now I can push down here. Let me see our situation. I'm going very, very slow, very gentle. You have to take your time and be patient, which is something I'm not normally very patient. So we're not done yet. I'm gonna just toss that, throw it away. Okay, now we have to take these off. All the adhesive is off, so they should come off very easily. And it does not need to be perfect. This is a background. Okay, and something I did find yesterday was there was a few spots that I did go in and kind of, like my paper stuck just a little bit. I should have used, and I already had them cut out, so I just used what I had already cut out. But it would have been best. I'm gonna see the difference on these. I just used some scraps, but I think it would be best. Now this looks pretty. You could even just leave that how it is. I just used some scraps that I had, but I think it would be best to use thick paper. So on this one here, that bigger butterfly, I did use the thick Whisper White. So we'll see if that comes off a little bit better, but that's actually what I would probably recommend. And again, this is just a background, so it's not gonna be perfect because all of them didn't have as much edging around them. And once you add the rest of the stuff to your card, it's not gonna matter. You're not gonna notice that. Okay, so let's see. And now I have the ones that I did do with the thick. So I'm flipping it all every which direction just so I can get a hold of this. So another way to use your take a pick tool here. There, I can toss that away. And now this will be the real one that shows if the thick really made a big difference. And I think it did. All right, look at how pretty that is. Maybe it didn't matter. Looks like I have one little spot here. Now, ideally you would do this up. Looks like I have a little bit of paper right here. And so that's, I'm going to be real gentle. Now, if it stayed there, probably would not matter. Nobody would notice it but you. But since I have this take a pick tool, I'm going to just grab that off of there. There. Complete. So look at how pretty that is. I have one little spot of gray up here that I'm noticing too from my smoky slate. So another way to do this would be to use a coordinating color. Again, I just grabbed some scraps out because I was cutting out dies and just grabbed what I had because I had no idea what I was making. I was just kind of winging it. So you can see how that turns out. Isn't that pretty? So beautiful background. I can move all of this aside now and go to the next step. So our next step for this card, we need to do some heat embossing now, and I'm going to use the Stamparatus for this. Okay, and I'm just going to show you how I did it, and then I actually have some of the butterflies cut out already. So let's go ahead and grab our Versa. I'm going to use the Versa. I am going to use the white embossing paste. I also want to show it on black. So there's going to be lots of little showing here today, and then you'll see later today how some of this stuff is going to come together. I was looking to see if I had a full sheet of black, but I don't know that I do. So you know what I need to do? I can bring in this mat because it's going to end up getting ink somewhere else. So I'll do that for the second one. But first what I'm going to do is my watercolor paper again, because I'm going to end up spritzing on this one. So I'm going to use a watercolor sheet here. Let's get our magnet, put it on the edge, and I'm going to just do the full sheet. That's not going to fit. You know what I did? I put it up one. So one notch is what I did there. I don't like to stamp too close to the edges here. You seem to get a crisper image when you go a little bit more in the center. So this is that beautiful stamp. So a full sheet stamp. And I think maybe for the black, I'll just, well, no, I do want to do it. It's really pretty because I'm going to be doing some shimmer spritzing, and it's fun to see how that spritzing looks on black. So I'm inking this up really good. It is Versa, and then I'm going to sprinkle on that embossing powder. Let's make sure we're gonna make clearance here. Looks like we're not. There, and it doesn't matter. These are gonna get cut out. So if it's a little off, that's okay, because they're not gonna stay on this paper. Now something you can do, so I'm gonna make sure I push that down real nice and firm to get that Versa to soak in everywhere. I can pull it up, and you probably can't see it, but I'm gonna make sure that I have gotten it all over. Let's go one more time. We'll see when I do the other part. Now, just so that you can see it, I'm gonna do it in black. I probably not the best color to show on camera on white, but you'll see it when, oh boy, I hope that shows. You can see how the butterfly is now picking up that color. It was really easy to see last night when it was a little bit darker in here. That looks so beautiful. Okay, now I need to bring my coffee filter back in. So I got real technical tools here that I'm using for my Versa. I should have my little tabletop vacuum over here because I could vacuum up then. I keep forgetting to bring that over. I use it all the time, but I have it sitting on a shelf that's not easy to get to when I'm doing a video. So I hope that that shows up for you so you can see how pretty that is. There, at that angle, it looks like it does. So then I'm gonna heat that in just a second. But before, I wanna show you this also on black. So I'm gonna put this in, and let me see if I can find a piece of black that is cut to the right size. I could always cut one, I suppose. Oh, I have one right over here. So this is cut to the size that I'm gonna want. When I made my original one, all I did was I trimmed it down. So right now I'm just gonna eyeball where this would be. So I just did a full sheet of black actually when I initially did it, and then I trimmed off the sides, but you could do it this way as well. So for this one today, I will do it this way. It's just a little faster to show you. And I did put a little mat under here, that one I used before that I can wash off. And you'll see I do have a little paintbrush here. When you're doing heat embossing, not a bad idea to have a little paintbrush handy. So if you need to brush off a little bit of the Versa, especially on that white, it's not such a big deal. But when you're stamping and then putting the powder on a dark color piece of cardstock, because then you can brush some of the little sprinkles away that sometimes get in the way. All right, and then put that down, and I can move my Stamparatus out of the way. I did take a look at what I had. Yesterday, I was all out of sorts yesterday. I had too much time to prepare. So the order special for those that order, of course, there's a special where you get to pick a celebration thing for every $50. And then you also get entered in the door prize drawing. And I have a Stamparatus, I have a paper trimmer, or a scoring tool for you to choose from. So the winner will choose one of those. Or if you have all those things, you can pick a $25 shopping spree. So that's the order special, goes through Sunday. So not only you get the celebration, you get entered in the drawing. So little opportunity for a little special there. And let's do that one more time. I'm just working my way around the card. And this is also going to be a background. So if it's not perfect, that's okay. So if you miss a little spot on it, not a big deal. And then we'll get out our heat tool. So as you can tell, I was not joking when I said I was using lots of techniques today, lots of different tools and adhesive type things and papers. So it's a real fun day here. And let me get going here. So, let me show you. Now, of course, there's no reason. Oh, there is a little reason for my paintbrush here. Just a little one right here. So now I can just brush that aside. But it looks like everywhere else is really nice. It got a nice crisp look there this time. And it's just paper. So if it didn't turn out how you wanted to, you could just do it again. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and do my heating. Nice to have a little tool so that you don't burn your fingers. And so this is all there is to heat embossing. Versamark works best, and then the embossing powder. I believe the colors we have are white, gold, and silver, and clear. So really, if you have a really inky ink pad, you can use clear embossing powder over the regular ink, believe it or not. I haven't done that in a while, but it is a thing that is a possibility. And so you really just go along until it gets shiny, and you know, it is definitely a magical thing. If you've never heat embossed, I really encourage you to try it, because I waited, I don't know, I first learned to heat emboss and what it was about 1.5 years after I was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I had no idea what it was. And the first time I heat embossed, it was a little tiny deer. It was like the change of my life. I don't know. It was just amazing. I had wondered what everybody was doing and how they would do that. And then after I realized it actually wasn't hard, I think I heat embossed like every project for that entire month. So you can see how pretty that is. It just really makes it pop. And I have one other thing I should probably do while I have it here. That's going to be to finish off my project today. That is going to have to be heat embossed. I came down this morning and made my sentiment piece, which is what I'm going to also heat emboss. While my coffee was brewing this morning, I have my coffee pot downstairs. So in my bathrobe this morning, I finished off the card. And really, I was trying to get my husband to come down. So look at how nice that is for a background. So I'll finish this one off and share with you whatever I create with that this afternoon. But I'm going to probably show you a little spritzing on it too. And let's do one more on black. So my sentiment I'm going to put on black. And the colors, it just pops when I ended up using Magenta Madness and then that Bumblebee color. And then I'm adding this for my sentiment in black. And you're just, if you didn't get a glimpse of that card at the beginning, I'm sure you're wondering where I'm going with this, but it's somewhere good. So stay tuned. The end is coming. But now what do I do with my powder? Right behind me. All right, so let's see, what direction am I going now? So I'm just doing back and forth, back and forth. Probably hardly even on the camera right now. That's okay. So here, looks like I missed a little spot. I'm gonna go back, I want that a little darker right on the life. So it says, life is better with a friend like you. Again, I like to talk about who you're gonna give a card like this to. This one is gonna also be for a really good friend. You're not just gonna give this card to anybody, so what a perfect sentiment to have. But now if you did just send this as a random act of kindness card, what a beautiful card that somebody would truly appreciate. And we'll just heat emboss this little part, and then I just have to do the watercolor piece. And then we'll go on to our next set of techniques, or set of, I don't know, the next technique where I'm going to spritz this, and you'll see why it's so fun to use the white on white here. This would make a beautiful background just as it is. I'm not going to cut these out right now for the sake of time, but I have some finish that I will be able to share with you. So I'm just really hoping that that is coming through. If it's not coming through now, you're definitely going to see it once I do my spritzing. So kind of depends on how your screen shows up. If not, you're just watching me go over a piece of white paper right now, which I'm sure is real exciting. It's probably like watching paint dry. For me, this is pretty magical, so I'm having a good time. After all, it's the after party, right? Okay, almost done. And so really, as soon as it gets shiny, then it's done. You don't want to go too long on this, because if you do, then it will burn your paper. Some people do like to, I like to see it like this. So this is the way I've just always done it. But you can also go from underneath, and that works too. So whatever your preference is. I guess from underneath would probably be a better view for all of you watching. Okay, so that is wonderful. And now I am going to bring, since I do have it on the bigger sheet and not cut out, so we can cut out all of these at one time. with that one die cut. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to leave it how it is right here. And then what I have next is our next set of things that you need. So this is obviously, Stampin' Up! Does not sell rubbing alcohol, but I have rubbing alcohol that I mix in with my shimmer ink. You need just a droplet of this shimmer ink, and you need a spritzer. And then what I did, this is where my hands got so messy when I dropped in my re-inker. So when I cut them out, I dropped my butterflies in here, and then I just spritzed them right into the container. And then I put them someplace else to dry, which I don't think I brought anything to put them in to dry, but I'll find something here. Okay, and so I just dropped in a couple droplets of the re-inker into my spritzer. I'm gonna spray it onto a scrap a couple times before I start to make sure it's spritzing good. And it is. And so this is the next piece. And paper towels. I need some paper towels. Hold on, I gotta grab those. They are handy because I had them here last night. And hopefully I don't get Magenta Madness as the color I'm using, ink everywhere. So you'll see here, I'm gonna spray it, and I'm gonna spray it really good. Now, if you wanted it darker, you could certainly add more re-inker. But I'm gonna get that nice and soaked in there. And then what I'm gonna do, and you could definitely add in other colors, and there's a little sparkle in there because I have that shimmer paint. And what I'm gonna do now is just dab off the excess. You can see how that would be a lovely background just as that is. And you can cut them out. I'm gonna move that aside and show you. So this is my cooking show style right now, how they turned out after they were colored or cut out and dry. And so now I have these lovely butterflies that I can use on any project. So it looks like I had a little more re-inker when I made those. So I'll have lots of different tones of butterflies to use. And then what I did, I'm just gonna show you, no, I should do it. Because spritzing with glitter is really fun. So now it does have the Magenta Madness in here, but I thought I should just try this. And, well, that's what I should talk about when I did that. The perk, okay, so heat embossing, that's the perk of that, is it doesn't pick up over the color. So that is the purpose of doing the heat emboss on that, because it's not gonna pick up the color. So it's really kind of a fun little technique to do. And now I wanna make this, the same thing's gonna happen here. I wanna make this paper a little sparkly. So I'm gonna just spritz my paper, and then it's gonna turn this black paper into shimmer paper. You see how this is picking up the pink? But guess what? It's not, because it is heat embossed, so we don't have to worry about that. Gotta put that out and use my paper towel again. And just dab the pink off of there. You would never know that that was pink in there. And so let me share that. Look at how pretty that is. So you can make any paper like a shimmer sparkle paper just by using that shimmer paint. And you just drop it in a spritzer with a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and bada boom, bada bing, you've got some glimmer paper. And now I think all we have is the really fun stuff is to assemble this card. So how are we gonna do that? We're gonna need a piece of white. Now suddenly, like, my card base is gone. I don't know how that happened. Like, I had everything here, and that's what I'm missing is the card base. I mean, hello. Oh, probably because I didn't cut it yet. The piece of paper is sitting here, but I didn't cut it. So after all of that, we're finally gonna get to assemble this card. And I'm just gonna go with basic white, the thick basic white for my base of this card. And I have not, since I started the video, looked at the comments. So I hope everybody is enjoying the video so far. I'm kind of really in a zone here what I'm doing. I should probably wipe my hands one more time, just in case I have any leftover ink on me. Now that I'm going back to Whisper White. If I was going with the basic black, I would have no trouble. It wouldn't show up. And so just a standard card size now. And I do need to, let me check this. I think it's going to be dry enough. It sure is. And so then a standard card size, cut it at 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And I needed, some of you are going to just like be crazy. So this is my absolute favorite ribbon, and I ran out. So no, yesterday I said the polka dot tulle was my favorite. Okay, I forgot. This mesh ribbon is maybe my favorite. So I don't have any more. So I was like digging in the scrap bin to find some, and I had no more. I had enough for my sample, but I needed some for this one. So I'm taking apart this project. So now this is going into the junk bin because I have no use for it anymore, because I need this mesh ribbon more than I need that container to send somebody a gift for Christmas, because Christmas is gone. And there's like a gem. No, that's not a gem. What is that? Okay, and now look at this. I'm out of this ribbon too, so now I got a piece of that ribbon. I feel like I'm being very resourceful today. And okay, I don't know where that glue dot or dimensional came from. And so I needed something really, this is what I was like, I figured out this, and then I just was, I think I dreamed about this. I think I dreamed about this mesh ribbon because I just didn't know what I was gonna do with this when I went to sleep last night. And just as always, I knew something would come to me. It always does, but I just didn't know what. And when I woke up this morning, the first thing I thought was mesh ribbon. Mesh ribbon is what it's gonna be. That is what I need to do to this card. I need to add to this card. And I came downstairs and that's exactly what I did, but I had to find some first because this mesh ribbon, metallic mesh ribbon is what it's called, is a carryover from the holiday catalog. And so I got to look up the number. So when I make my supply list for today of what I used, I'll add that in there in case this is new to you, because it's not in a catalog. You can't find it right now, which is why I forget to add it to my order. And so I put a glue dot there, just happens to be right in the center of that butterfly, how I have it positioned. I'm gonna press down nice and firm so that my ribbon has a place to stay and hold while I am tying my bow. And then I will trim it down. And I'm gonna keep, normally like a little end that I cut, I would just throw it away. I'm not gonna do that though, because I'm conserving the ribbon right now. I might need it on a project that I finish with those butterflies, because I think between these two ribbons, I think they're great options with this butterfly suite. There isn't a ribbon right now that goes with these. And so this is a little bit heavier, and it might still be a little tacky, so I'm gonna be real gentle when I put it on this side. And I'm gonna use tear tape so that I don't have to press down real hard when it's on this side to adhere it. So I'll just be real gentle here. That way we can get this card all finished off. And it is almost complete. So this is getting a little long, I understand that, but it's a party and we have got all these great things to show today. And so if you haven't done any of these techniques, I challenge you to try them out. Maybe not all in the same day. Maybe you want to, try the heat emboss first and then do the embossing paste. The embossing paste is really great. I figured these butterflies would work great with it. Anything with a mask. And of course there are some actual masks in the catalog, but I think it's really fun when you can make one with a die set that you already have. And then it gives it two ways to use it, not just one. So I'm real gentle. I'm going to push on that because I don't want to get that off of there. And once it is dry, it is very firm. You don't have to worry about it coming off. I'm just being very careful right now because it might still be a little bit tacky. I'm not sure what's going on with that one. Let's go with this one here. My husband actually asked me if I was bleeding last night, but I think my re-inker was just a little bit heavier in that one spot when it spritzed out. So I'll save that. I'll use it for something else. You know what? I'm going to use it for this one. I'm going to show you why that's going to look great. It's going to work because I'm putting a sentiment over it. So why not use that one? That's a great idea. Sometimes I have really good ideas, sometimes not so much, but today I think I've got a few of them. And then I'm going to tuck that under my bow and might need to go just a little bit this way. Let's see, maybe this one we have to go this way. I'm going to have to move my bow over a little bit because I don't want it to overhang. There we go, I got it in there. I don't want it to overhang my card because I want it to be able to fit in the envelope. There, that'll look good. And then last but not least, we need to do our sentiment. I'm going to trim it down to start with my paper trimmer, and then I'm actually going to fussy cut it. So that's something I have not ever done or showed you. I don't think I've ever done it. I think this might be the first time, is fussy cutting a sentiment out, right? That's something really new to all of us. Sometimes I make you in class fussy cut something else, but not a sentiment. And I'm going to cut it into 2 pieces. So you may look at this sentiment and think, I have no use for that. I don't have anything long, but I like what this says. So what we can do is we can make it whatever size we want. And I'm going to do just that right now. And I'm going to cut along here and just snip that away. And it's really fun when there's different fonts to do the fussy cut here. And it just adds a little something else to your card. And especially this black, basic black here, is going to really make those colors pop on this card. It's a nice spring color combination. You could definitely make this into like an Easter card if you wanted to. It'd be a really nice Mother's Day card. Or just a great card like what I'm using it for now, to send a friend. And I have just the friend I'm going to send this to. And I might have to make a few more of these. I have a few people that I think would enjoy this card. Okay, and there we are. And now let's get rid of these little scraps. Let's do some mini dimensionals. And we do have black mini dimensionals. So I like to pull those in every now and again. The nice thing about the package is the black dimensionals, they do come with both the mini and the larger ones. And I think you get 1 extra sheet. And so I will put dimensionals on all of these because it's going to go right over the top of this butterfly. Just make sure I get my sentiments in the right order. Don't want to put it backwards. So life starts first. And I will put that here. And then you'll see how I'm going to end up covering. I'm going to make sure I'm going to cover this little kerfuffle down here where my re-inker went a little wild. Or my spritzer. And off-center that just a little bit. And that finishes our card. Isn't that one of the prettiest things you have ever seen? I'm going to move this because I can. See, nothing is not fixable. Everything is fixable. I want to go just a little farther over now that I put the bigger butterfly. So it's still going to, that glue dot's still going to be useful. Oh, but now I already trimmed it down. So I am testing myself if I can tie that bow twice with a smaller end. And I did. There we go. Just moved it over just a smidge. All right, so let me bring in the other cards so you can see both of them all together. I hope that you all enjoyed it. I mean, how pretty are these to start our day off with today? If you want to come back and see some very, well, I don't know. I don't even know what's in that bag. But if you want to see some really great cards using this butterfly bouquet suite that other friends of mine have created, check back at 2 o'clock today or anytime on the replay, and I'll share with you all kinds of cards using that. But this was definitely a very technique-heavy card. And then I also have to bring you back something to share with what I made with this and that other butterfly that I cut out. And I have another special surprise to share with you too. So 2 o'clock is just going to be all about doing some sharing and showing of some other projects you might want to create with this butterfly bouquet or butterfly brilliance suite. So I'm going to end it right there, everybody. We'll see you back here at 2. You all enjoy the next couple hours. And if you can't join at 2, be sure to try to check in at 7 o'clock tonight for our, what is it called? Our mystery stamp. Looks like it's going to be a little bit of a mystery to me too. So mystery stamping tonight at 7, 2 o'clock, showing and sharing the butterfly bouquet suite. Talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.